Welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Kichi Tejure. Here are our top stories. Clarification: Maths, English still compulsory for O-level students, says federal government. Federal government completes mass deportation of 192 cybercrime convicts. Defections unlimited. APC tightens grip as opposition fades nationwide. Dangote, MAN to federal government. Enforce procurement law. Puts Nigeria first. Trump hits at invoking Insurrection Act. Eyes National Guard deployment to San Francisco. Barcelona posts £17 million loss despite near £1 billion revenue. Laporta stays upbeat. Now to the news in full. The federal government has reaffirmed that English language and mathematics remain compulsory subjects for all students sitting for their O-level examinations, despite the recent review of admission requirements into tertiary institutions. The Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, explained that the reform aims to ensure inclusivity, equity, and fairness in the education system, preventing students from being denied admission over subjects unrelated to their chosen fields. He said the move aligns with global best practices while maintaining education quality and integrity. The ministry also urged students, parents, and education stakeholders to rely on official channels for verified information, warning against misinformation on social media. It further reiterated the federal government's commitment to building a credible and globally competitive education system anchored on integrity, excellence, and equal opportunity for all learners. In a statement on Sunday, the Ministry of Education said the clarification became necessary following public misinterpretations of new policy on admission flexibility. It emphasized that while the reform allows universities and polytechnics to waive certain subject credits for admission into specific programs, all candidates must still register and sit for both mathematics and English. For now, the ministry insists English and mathematics remain non-negotiable for all O-level students nationwide. The federal government has terminated the 43-kilometer Port Harcourt-Aba Road contract being handled by the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC, over what it described as gross incompetence and project failure. The minister, visibly displeased, said the Aba-bound section of the dual carriageway was on the verge of total collapse, with several portions already failing. He noted that despite over 20 warnings, the company's poor construction methods, particularly laying binder without shoulders or wearing courses, had compromised the integrity of the road. Umahi disclosed that the project, which his administration inherited, will now be re-awarded to competent indigenous contractors to ensure quality and timely completion. He directed that CCECC be issued a 14-day termination notice and ordered the firm to mail out and replace the defective layers at its own cost, warning that failure to comply could lead to a nationwide shutdown of all its projects. Minister of Works David Umahi announced the decision on Sunday during an inspection on the project, saying the contractor repeatedly ignored warnings and failed to meet engineering standards despite huge government investments. The minister reaffirmed the Tinubu administration's resolve to hold contractors accountable and ensure Nigerians get value for money on all ongoing infrastructure projects across the country. The federal government has completed the deportation of 192 foreign nationals convicted of cybercrime, money laundering, and related offenses. The final batch of 51 convicts, mostly Chinese nationals, was expelled this week, marking the end of Nigeria's largest ever cybercrime deportation exercise. The sting operation that led to their arrest was carried out in December 2024 at Oyin Jolajemi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, where over 700 suspects were apprehended. Authorities say the completion of the exercise sends a strong message against transnational financial crime and underscores Nigeria's determination to protect its digital economy. The EFCC also reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening international cooperation to dismantle cybercrime networks operating across borders. The mass repatriation, coordinated between August and October, was led by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in collaboration with the Nigerian Immigration Service and the Nigerian Correctional Service. The convicts from countries including China, the Philippines, Tunisia, Malaysia, and Pakistan were found guilty of operating the sophisticated Ponzi and cyber fraud network under the name Genting International Company Limited. With the deportation drive concluded, security agencies say the focus will now shift to asset recovery and digital surveillance to prevent future cyber syndicates from using Nigeria as a base. Nigeria's political landscape is shifting fast, with a wave of defections from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressives Congress, tightening the APC's control and shrinking the opposition's presence just 29 months into President Tinubu's administration. Governors, senators, and lawmakers from Enugu, Bauchi, Bayelsa, and Kaduna are the latest to cross over. A move analysts say is deepening Nigeria's one-party dominance and putting the strength of democracy to the test. The ruling All Progressives Congress is consolidating its dominance across Nigeria's political space following a series of high-profile defections from the opposition People's Democratic Party. 29 months after the current administration came to power, the APC now controls more than two-thirds of Nigeria's 36 states, leaving the opposition with its weakest presence since 1999. In the Senate, the APC boasts 75 of 109 seats, while the PDP holds around 26, with the rest shared among smaller parties. The ruling party's membership in the House of Representatives has also surpassed 200. The latest round of defections includes 3 PDP lawmakers from Kaduna, Senator Kaila Dahua, Samaila of Bauchi North, and Governor Peter Umba of Enugu State. All cited internal crisis within the PDP and the desire to align with the federal government's renewed hope agenda. Governor Umba described his decision as one made after deep reflection and wide consultation, saying it was guided by the best interest of his people. Senator Samaila, in his resignation letter to Senate President Godswill Akpabio, accused the PDP of stifling his ability to serve effectively, adding that he sought a more progressive platform that embodies good governance, unity, and discipline. The defections have further weakened the PDP's influence at both national and state levels, raising concerns about the growing imbalance in Nigeria's democratic competition. From Abuja, political watchers warn that if the defection trend continues, Nigeria's multi-party democracy could face its toughest test in over 2 decades. The acting chairman of the Federal Character Commission, Kayode Oladele, says the Northern region holds a numerical edge in federal appointments under President Bola Tinubu, accounting for over half of all leadership positions nationwide. Oladele made the disclosure in Abuja during a one-day workshop on strengthening leadership and management excellence in the Federal Character Commission, held in line with the Renewed Hope agenda. The acting chairman of the Federal Character Commission, FCC, Kayode Oladele, says appointments made by the Tinubu administration reflects a deliberate effort towards inclusion and balance, despite data showing a northern lead. According to the FCC's latest analysis, the North currently holds 56.3% of federal leadership positions, while the South accounts for 43.7%. Oladele explained that the figures demonstrate the president's commitment to national unity, stressing that federal character is not a rigid quota system, but a tool to ensure fairness and cohesion. Breaking down the cabinet composition, the Northwest and Southwest lead with 11 ministers each, representing 22.9% of the 48-member team. The North Central follows with 8, 16.6%, Northeast 7, 14.5%, South-South 6, 12.5%, and Southeast 5, 10.4%. Beyond the ministerial list, the Northwest again dominates with 157 key federal positions, which account for 22.1%, followed by North Central with 139, Southwest 132, Northeast 105, South-South 91, and Southeast 88. From Abuja, FCC insists Tinubu's appointments, though not heavy, remain within the spirit of equitable representation. Oladile clarified that the data excludes presidential aides, service chiefs, and heads of security agencies. He emphasized that the Commission will continue to monitor compliance with the federal character principle across ministries, departments, and agencies to promote unity in diversity. You're watching our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. We'll go for a short break. When we return, more news stories on the business front.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Welcome back. At the 53rd Annual General Meeting of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in Lagos, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, joined forces with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, to call on the federal government to amend and enforce the Public Procurement Act, embedding what they call the Nigeria First policy. In his keynote address, Dangote emphasized that the government must gazette the Nigeria First policy as binding law, linking budgetary releases to verified compliance with local content targets. He noted that previous executive orders failed due to weak enforcement. Dangote proposed the creation of an independent monitoring and compliance agency to audit ministries, departments, and agencies in real time, sanctioning defaulters through budget cuts and blacklisting from public tenders. He warned that Nigeria must avoid another textile industry collapse, which cost over 500,000 jobs due to unchecked imports. He called the Nigeria First policy a strategic blueprint for industrial survival, urging investment in the infrastructure, skills, and technology to back it up. The president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Francis Meshoye, commended ongoing government reforms but insisted that the policy must move from advocacy to action. Dangote wrapped up his call to action with a challenge to both the government and industry. Meanwhile, Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Eno, revealed that by December 2025, new procurement guidelines will require justification before any imported goods can replace certified local alternatives. He also disclosed that the Bank of Industry, SMIDAN, and Manufacturing Association of Nigeria planned to graduate 1,000 MSMEs into certified supplier chains by 2026, while the Energy and Transport Ministries will prioritize the dedicated power and logistics support for industrial clusters in Lagos, Ogun, Kano, Kaduna, Aba, and Onitsha. Nigeria is gearing up for a global economic milestone as the federal government targets a massive $5 trillion in foreign direct investment through the upcoming World Investment Summit 2026, a landmark event set to take place right in Abuja. The Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, PFIPC, announced the ambitious goal in a statement on Thursday, themed Unlocking Capital, Accelerating Development, Driving Prosperity. The summit aims to position Nigeria as Africa's premier hub for international partnerships and global capital flow. The event, scheduled for April 2026, is expected to draw an unprecedented lineup of over 80 heads of state and government, 96 ministers, 800 speakers, and 8,000 participants from around the world. Nigeria, with its vast potential and global opportunity, is the perfect host of this momentous occasion. This summit is more than a conference, it is a catalyst for growth, a platform for partnership, and a beacon of hope for a brighter future. The Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, established by the presidency to advance Nigeria's global economic interests, says the summit will not only attract foreign investment but also empower local enterprises. In its statement, the council stressed that building resilient small, medium-sized businesses remain critical for long-term growth and sustainability. As the countdown begins to World Investment Summit 2026, expectations are high that the event will mark a turning point for Nigeria's investment landscape, opening new doors for prosperity and partnership across Africa and beyond. And to the foreign scene, the United States President Donald Trump has hinted he may invoke the Insurrection Act, a rarely used law that allows federal deployment of military forces within the United States as part of a sweeping plan to combat what he calls lawlessness in democratic-led states. In a pre-recorded interview on Sunday morning, Futures with Maria Bartiromo, Trump claimed he was considering federalizing the National Guard, citing lack of cooperation from Democratic officials in crime fighting and deportation operations. He specifically mentioned San Francisco as his next target for troop deployment. Fact checkers note that only 15 of the 45 US presidents have ever invoked the Insurrection Act, far fewer than Trump's claim of half. The controversial law was last used during the 1992 Los Angeles riots. Trump also described himself as the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, a statement that underscores his intent to centralize control over security operations if re-elected. This latest declaration adds to growing concerns over Trump's post-election rhetoric as he continues to blur the lines between federal authority and state autonomy. Tensions have flared once again in the Middle East as Israel has suspended all humanitarian aid deliveries to Gaza, accusing Hamas of violating the ongoing ceasefire agreement. The decision, announced on Sunday, has raised fresh concerns over the fragile truce and worsening humanitarian conditions inside Gaza. According to Israel's public broadcaster, Kan, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the immediate halt of aid convoys into Gaza after consultations with military chiefs. The move follows a series of airstrikes on Sunday that reportedly killed at least 16 Palestinians across the enclave. The Israeli army claims the strikes were in response to missile and gunfire attacks allegedly carried out by Hamas fighters in Rafah, southern Gaza. However, Hamas denied responsibility, insisting it remains committed to the ceasefire brokered under a US-backed peace plan earlier this month. The ceasefire deal, announced on October 10th, was part of a phased plan proposed by US President Donald Trump, focusing first on hostage prisoner exchanges, then on reconstruction efforts and the creation of a new Gaza governance structure without Hamas involvement. But with aid now suspended, fears of a deeper humanitarian crisis are mounting. Since the conflict reignited in October 2023, Gaza's health ministry says more than 68,200 people have been killed and over 170,000 injured in Israeli military operations. As global mediators urge restraint, the latest escalation threatens to unravel weeks of fragile diplomacy. Humanitarian agencies warn that even a temporary suspension of aid could push Gaza's civilians closer to famine and disease. Away from the foreign scene now to sports news, Barcelona has reported a £17 million net loss for the 2024-25 season, even after generating an impressive £994 million in total revenue, a figure hailed as historic by club president Joan Laporta. The financial update was presented at Barcelona's Ordinary General Assembly on Sunday, where Laporta, in what may be his final address as president, insisted the club remains on the right path despite the setback. Spanish football giant FC Barcelona has revealed a £17 million net loss for the 2025 financial year, marking a disappointing turn after an earlier projection of a surplus. Speaking at the club's Ordinary General Assembly, President Joan Laporta said the account initially showed a £2 million surplus, but additional financial charges pushed the balance into negative territory. Despite the loss, Laporta remained optimistic, describing the financial outlook as improving steadily. He highlighted record revenues of £994 million, including a historic £259 million in sponsorship income, which he credited to the club's growing global market presence. Laporta also announced that Barcelona reduced its La Liga debt cap by £90 million, describing it as a titanic effort to contain spending. He emphasized that members remain owners of the club without any need for external financing or personal contributions. On the pitch, Laporta pointed to last season's trophies and the continued development of La Masia talent as signs of a broader recovery. He also reaffirmed commitment to completing the Spotify Camp Nou redevelopment, calling it a key part of Barca's long-term growth. The Assembly approved the financial statements and adopted a new 2025-26 budget, aiming to deepen commercial momentum while sustaining debt reduction. The figures mark a slight dip from the 2023-24 season, when Barcelona recorded a modest £4.3 million profit, with total revenues below £900 million. From Catalonia, where the books may show red, Laporta insists Barca's recovery is real, both on and off the pitch. It was pure drama at Anfield as Manchester United clinched a 2-1 victory over Liverpool thanks to a late header from Harry Maguire in the 84th minute, a goal that sealed all 3 points for Eric Ten Hag's side. United silenced the Kop early when Brian Mbeumo latched onto a through ball and slotted home past Georgi Mamadashvili in the 2nd minute, leaving Liverpool stunned. But the Reds mounted relentless pressure, with Cody Gakpo striking the post twice before finally drawing level in the 78th minute after connecting with Federico Chiesa's cross. Just when a draw looked certain, Bruno Fernandes delivered a pinpoint volleyed cross, and Maguire rose highest to glance the ball home, sealing a dramatic win for Manchester United. Liverpool's late push failed to find an equalizer, leaving Jurgen Klopp's men frustrated and Anfield silenced. A crucial away win for United and a blow to Liverpool's title chase, proving once again that football's greatest rivalries deliver unforgettable nights. And with that sports news, we come to the end of our Daily News Roundup for today, right here on Atlantic TV. Do all to follow us on all our social media platforms for more news stories and headline updates. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a good day.